Jeff Green have scaled the rookie wall, but how high can they help the Thunder climb this season, their second season? I'm Mike Sherman, and this is Thunder Basketball with Darnell Mayberry and Mike Baldwin. Guys, after nearly 2 years of talking about NBA basketball in abstract ways, we're days away from seeing real live Oklahoma City NBA players in real live uniforms. Perhaps the most important of those players are Durant and Green, who were teammates last year in Seattle, and teammates on the NBA All-Rookie team. Darnell, as Mike Baldwin pointed out in the paper on Sunday and on News OK, he took a look at the second-year statistical improvement of the rookies, significant rookies, and the rookies of the year. Of the last 7 rookies of the year, only Emeka Okafor failed to make a nice improvement in his scoring average. LeBron James, his soared from 21 points a game to 27. What kind of improvement can we expect from Kevin Durant this season as a scorer?
As a scorer, I think he averaged 20.3 last year. I don't think he's going to improve that much as a scorer, just as far as his point production. I think, he'll probably get up to about 23. Any higher than that, you're talking your leading scorer in the NBA. Kobe Bryant, I think, averaged 25 last year. I think he'll get up to 23. What I think you'll see him improve on most is field goal percentage. That was sort of his Achilles heel last year. He was more of a chucker from the three-point line last year. I think you'll see him improve just all around from, beyond the three-point line and within the three-point line.
Mike, what statistics what trends really emerged from your research into the scoring trends of these second-year players?
Well, the rookies of the year, they improved about 20%, but some of the other rookies that weren't rookies of the year, they improved from like 30, 40% sometimes. I think Jeff Green's the one you'll see numbers go way up. But the other thing you've got to remember, the one scout that talked to me, they were all anonymous, but is they're adding Desmond and Joe Smith and some other players around. And he said last year they were a three-headed monster. They had those 2 guys and Collison. If you stopped those 3, they were dead. If you can still average 23 out of him, but you're getting more out of a Desmond Mason, Joe Smith, that number really means more, because teams, if they focus on him, that means somebody else may be scoring double figures. Green may be scoring 15. So it's not so much just how much Durant averages, it's what they can average around him with the new pieces they've added.
Well, speaking of one of those new pieces, we'll get back to Russell Westbrook a little more later, but the ability to penetrate and kick, that really, if you watch the Celtics win the NBA title, even the Spurs, as they didn't get there last year, but Tony Parker to break down the defense, Rajon Rondo, is that something? What impact will Russell Westbrook have on Kevin Durant's scoring, do you think?
I think it depends on how fast he develops. We saw him in the rookie summer league. That's obviously no indicator of how much, how good he'll be this season. But if he can come in and pick up things quickly, I think he'll help Kevin Durant, because Kevin really didn't have many players around him last year that could initiate an offense and set up other guys. Kevin basically had to set up his own scoring. So if Russell can do that for Kevin, I think you'll see a lot of improvement out of Kevin just from what Russell Westbrook brings.
Mike, you talked about the post guys and the presence of Collison. Now Collison's got a Joe Smith. Is there a kick out? They don't really seem to have a low post threat the way some of the better teams do.
Well, it's like we talked about last week. We like to predict how many wins, how many points they're all going to average. That's going to be the fun part of this team and the fans, is they're going to grow. What direction do they grow? Do they have a post presence? We're going to find that out. How much can Russell Westbrook jump in there and help this year? We're going to find out. How much can these guys' numbers improve? I think that's going to be the fun part. And there'll be ebbs and flows. There is in every pro sport. There's ebbs with every team. But you adjust as you go. And I think that's what's going to make it fun when we do this every week all year long, is who had a good week, who's showing signs, who's losing minutes. And that's what's going to be fun. It's fun to predict at the top how much they may score, but there's going to be more pieces, more fun for the people at the Ford Center to watch this team evolve together.
Hey, Darnell, one last question about Durant and scoring. Fair or unfair? He was a chucker last year.
I think everybody you ask around the NBA will agree that he was a chucker. From three-point range. If you look at, he got better as the season going. To his credit, he got better as the season went on. By March, April, he was more of a complete player. But at the beginning, most of his, I forget the number, but there's a high percentage of his field goal attempts were three-pointers. So, and he didn't make very many of them. So, Yeah, I think that's fair.
And that's also a thing where three-point shooting, they didn't really address that in the offseason, as far as I can tell, getting more three-point shooters. They may still need him to go back out there and chuck some more, don't you think?
Maybe some, but the one thing this guy's pointed out, and we saw him in Gallagher, Iowa, we saw him in the Ford Center in the Big 12 tournament, he's skinny, he's slender, and everybody said he's got to beef up, he's got to post little guys up inside, be versatile, to have an inside-outside game. He'll be one of the toughest matchups in the league. Well, I want to see what he looks like at Media Days next Monday. How much stronger did he get?
Buff?
Well, he'll be buffer. How buffed? I don't know, but that's one of the things we're going to start finding out is they told him the offseason get stronger. Let's find out how much stronger he got.
Nobody asked George Gervin to buff up, and he seems to be able to. He seemed to get to the hole and score. Prolifically.
But have you seen Kobe and Michael and LeBron? They all look pretty buff, and they can all shoot a little bit.
That's right. Okay. Hey, next question. Oklahoma City witnessed the birth of two stars here when the Hornets were here for 2 seasons. Chris Paul's rookie season, we saw that. The development of David West, we saw that. Let's tackle the West comparison first. Guys, can Jeff Green's second-year improvements be as significant as the step that David West made his first season in Oklahoma City? Darnell, start with you.
I think so. He averaged, about a little over 10 points last year, all-rookie first team.
Better than West did as a rookie.
Better than, and West had those injury concerns. Even when he came here and he had that sort of breakout season, he was still nicked up every now and again. Jeff Green seems to be a durable player. I think that's going to help him. I think the fact that he ended last season well, along with Kevin Durant, I think that's going to help him as well. He averaged, Mike pointed out in the paper this past weekend, he scored 35 points against Denver. So he finished the season well, and I think that's going to help him build on it going into this season.
Well, he averaged more than 13 after the All-Star break. And the one thing I like talking to some of these scouts is sometimes it's figuring out your role. This is a defensive team. They told him to concentrate on defense. Evidently, that's what he did most of the first half of the season. As the season's going along, we need a little more offense. He felt a little more comfortable. It wasn't all just the Kevin Durant and Collison show. He started taking a few more shots. That's why you're number 2. Well, let's see how he evolves offensively, because his number 1 concern is defense, do all the little things. Well, late in the season, they said, we need you to score. And so I think Darnell's right. I think he's going to improve in every aspect of his game. Offense will be the one, because that's what people see, stats, how many points you score. But he's a lot more to this team than that.
And can he be that low post scorer? Because if you watched him at Georgetown, they could throw the ball into him on the blocks, and he could do something with it, including when the game was on the line. He made a big shot in the NCAA tournament where, fumble and try to get the ball, put it up. He found a way to get it done. He, not in the best possible way, seemed to be pretty good at getting garbage points off blocks, rebounds, loose balls. He seemed to be a pretty resourceful guy. That's the easy part of the question. Now let's tackle the harder one. Will Russell Westbrook be given the same kind of response or the kind of minutes and responsibilities that puts him into the Rookie of the Year discussion?
I think he'll be given the opportunity. I just think the talent is so deep in this year's rookie class, and I don't think he's going to be in that discussion. And that's not a knock on him. That's just a credit to Greg Oden, who everyone forgets is a rookie. He's still a rookie. He didn't play a game last season. You have
Beasley,
Michael Beasley, Derrick Rose, these guys, Eric Gordon. I think these guys are in situations that are better for them as far as their individual talents, and especially like a guy like Eric Gordon with the Clippers. He's got some help around him, but this is Kevin Durant's team. Kevin Durant is going to have most of the opportunities as far as scoring, and that's sort of really what Rookie of the Year is all about. A lot of people like to see players who are putting up numbers on winning teams. Mm-hmm. The fact that Kevin Durant everything goes through him, I don't know if Russell Westbrook is going to be able to put up the numbers that's going to attract a lot of the attention.
Well, let's change the question, not Rookie of the Year, because the odds are pretty long, but they had one of only 7 teams in the last 24 years to have 2 first-team All-Rookies. Can he make first-team All-Rookie? Because Darnell already rattled off 3 or 4 names. There'll probably be first-team All-Rookie. Can Russell Westbrook be one of the top 5 rookies in the league? I think that's a more fair question. And if he does, then your foundation is you've had 3 first-team All-Rookies, some in their second year, some in their first. Then the following year, you would really have a good foundation. Can he be one of the top 5 rookies in the league? I think is a fair question.
I didn't even mention Kevin Love in Minnesota and O.J. Mayo in Memphis. But you know what? The great thing that I've noticed so far just in my early conversations with Russell Westbrook, talk like this fuels him. When people like me say, these other guys are going to get more opportunities than him, he uses that as motivation, and he goes out there and tries to prove people like me that says, no, he's not going to be in the discussion wrong. And so I think, he can come out and try to sort of like he did in the rookie league. I mean, everybody thought, why'd he go, so high in the draft? And he basically proved it to him. I think he could do that again this season.
The most impressive player in the Orlando rookie league. And I think that was a consensus
including
among
Beasley
scouts.
And Rose.
Yeah, I think that was a consensus among scouts. So that's why I asked the question. Now, the one thing I'll say about this is, if you look at the research you did, Mike, in the Sunday paper and on News OK, you took a look at rookie tandems that were on the all-rookie team. It's 7 and 24 years, but almost like the last 6 years, there was Ben Gordon and Luol Deng. There was
Portland,
Aldridge, and Rudy Gay.
Roy.
Brandon Roy. Toronto had one. And so it's becoming more commonplace. Here recently, people are getting good tandems. Last question about the rookies. DJ White. Is there any people sleeping on DJ White? Could he be really impressive? Could he be at least as good as some of the Hornets rookies their second year?
I think so. I think Sam Presti and PJ Carlesimo have high expectations for DJ White. I mean, he's a seasoned college player. That's going to help him. I think you can look at him like a Paul Millsap in Utah, like a Carl Landry in Houston. Rookies who came in undersized, underheralded, and sort of had an impact for those were playoff teams. But I think you're going to see more. I think you can expect a lot out of DJ White. He's a hard-nosed player and he hustles. He's going to be one of the guys that does the dirty work, and he's going to be a fan favorite, I think.
Bangers from the Big Ten tend to.
And Brian Davis, the new play-by-play guy, he covered a lot of Pac-10. He said, don't be surprised if Weaver doesn't get 8 or 10 minutes a game as a defensive specialist. Because right now we're just throwing him away. That's what's going to make sort of the 2 days of pro basketball fun. Is we get to monitor these guys. Maybe they are way behind. They won't play till Christmas. Maybe they'll play right away a few minutes off the bench because that's what this team needs, some depth. It's obviously got 4 or 5 pretty good players, but to win in the NBA, you need 8 or 9 good players. Are some of these guys we're talking about going to be some of those guys? We'll find out here in the next few weeks.
Speaking about finding out, it's Media Day next Monday at the Skirvin in downtown Oklahoma City. It's our chance to meet these guys, some of them for the first time. Which Thunder player are you most looking forward to talking to, Darnell?
DJ White was one of them. He is one of them, just because I think he can do some things and I want to know where his mindset is. But if I had to go with one, I'm going to say Robert Swift. Here's a guy who was a lottery pick, a former lottery pick. He's been injury prone throughout his career. I just sort of want to see where he is in his development. They just recently re-signed him, and I want to know what he brings to this team. He's got a lot of question marks, and I just want to talk to him. He's one of the players that I haven't gotten a chance to speak with for the former Sonics. Most of them I have met and sort of dealt with a little bit, but Robert Swift would be the guy.
Mike, who are you looking for?
Oh, it's the stars. It's Green and Durant and Westbrook, and these are the glue players of the foundation. I'm starting fresh just like the fans are. I've never interviewed these guys other than Kevin Durant a little bit in Big 12 play, a little bit when Darnell and I went down to cover a Maverick Sonics game last year just on the outside chance that this team was going to move here. I want to see the stars, and as we go along, we have lots of practices to talk to some of these other role players, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Kevin Durant's mindset is going into year 2, and these are some of the stories we'll be covering.
Plus, you get a chance to say what's up to Nick Collison from your old Big 12 days covering Oklahoma State. So that'll be a good one, too. Hey, last question. Uniform scuttlebutt. I'm told they're going to unveil the uniforms Monday at Media Day. What are you hearing?
We're hearing the road will be like this with Oklahoma City written on it, and the home will be white with Thunder written on it. Whether that's accurate or not, but that's what insiders are telling me. So I'm curious. I think that's going to be one of the cool things to Media Day is what will they look like on TV 82 games out of the year? What will you see on the ESPN highlights?
A much bigger deal than the mark and logo.
Yeah, what if that's not even involved? I mean, you don't even see the logo.
So all the conversation, all the opinions flying about the logo, maybe they go on the back burner once we get to see what the uniforms are like.
Do we see the little Celtic guy in his little hat all the time? No, we hardly ever see that.
It's good that we don't see him much at all, actually. Hey, thanks, guys. You can join the conversation at Oklahoma City's new NBA fan website, thundermadness.com, and follow all the latest on the Thunder by sticking with the best coverage team in the state at newsok.com, newsok.tv, and subscribing to the Oklahoman.
You could see it.